In this Lord of the Rings Rise to War video, we are going to talk about the very best epic equipment on the side of good. If you get this equipment, hold on to it, and we'll talk about exactly why and how to use it. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in Lord of the Rings Rise to War, it's a complicated world, man. There's all this equipment and all these commanders, and it's hard to know which equipment and modifier combinations should you be keeping, and what should you use to strengthen and refine. So I thought it'd be a really cool idea to put together a list. What are the things you absolutely must keep? And so that is exactly what this list is. We'll go through the weapons, the armor, the helmets, and the accessories that if you get one of these, you probably should hold on to it, and you'll have to make your own judgment based off of why I share that item is valuable. And before I get into that, it is very important that I thank Drucifer specifically, and also the Smash Squad for helping me put together this amazing list. So let's start with the weapons. And the first weapon is the Carver with Smite. This is a great Gandalf weapon. Improving the damage of your men is fantastic. The might and the focus is great, but also Smite does an attack that is modified by your focus. So this is great on any commander that is heavy on focus. And I do have to say that this list, by the way, is focused on the side of good because that's what I have access to. There are things on the side of evil that would definitely be equipment that you want to hold on to, and that is a video I definitely can make. So subscribe if you're interested in that, and if you're starting to get value from this video already, consider subscribing. But let's get right back into it, okay? I like the Carver, specifically the attack for men, because it works very well on commands that have a high number of units. I think that sharpshooters are one of the very best units to use with Gandalf because they do a lot of damage at the front of the fight, and because of his convener, he gives you extra attacks at the start of the fight. Do the Carver, giving the men extra damage. You want to just try to blast that enemy at the very beginning and don't give them a chance to get into the fight at all, if you can swing it. In addition, the second item on the list is a cutlass, and there are two cutlasses that I'm going to recommend here. The first is the cutlass with flay. Flay makes it so that the commander ignores physical damage at the start of the fight. This is really good on Aragorn, Boromir, Éomer. If you get one of these and you're doing a commander damage build, this is what you want to use. Otherwise, if you're using Éowyn, Theoden, and a lot of those other commanders that are going with a troop damage build, if you find your way into a cutlass that has, I think it's melee might, there it is, allied melee units do extra damage, that's what you want to hold on to for those units. So those are the three weapons that, man, if you get one of these weapons, you really should hold on to it. There's obviously other good epic weapons, but I want to give you the top ones where if you get one of those, you hold on to it. Cutlass with melee might, cutlass with flay, Carver with smite. Really, really good. Now I want to jump to the armor, and there's a bunch of things to talk about for armor. Scout's Mail is probably the first one on the list that we need to talk about. I personally really enjoy Shroud. This makes it so you have a chance to avoid damage. I like it, even though I'm running a glass cannon build, and I probably should move away to the other thing that I think is a must-hold. So I like Shroud, but that's not really a must-hold. The must-hold is the Scout's Mail with Deftness, giving you extra speed. The cavalry commanders scale with commander speed. More commander speed equals more damage. It's just good stuff. You get one of these, you hold on to it. The next piece I really want to talk about is quilted armor. And I'm not currently using this. However, quilted armor with focus protection is really, really good against commanders that do focus damage. So what's really nuts about this is that it is essential for an Oathbreaker build, but that also it's very good against evil, where there's a lot of focus damage being dealt. This does not protect you from poison. It does not protect you from fire. Those are different modifiers. But the quilted armor with the focus protection is a piece that is on my to-do list, but not on my immediate list. In fact, from my immediate list, I've got Scale Mail. Now, the Scale Mail can be worn by Gandalf and many other commanders. There are two modifiers that if you get them, you probably want to hold on to. One is Gallant for Might. 3 Might is the base level. That's strong for, Gimli and other commanders that do lots of damage, like Dwalin. But also, I really like Melee Vigor. This is damage reduction for your melee units. That's what I use on Gandalf. I'm just making his front line really tanky so that my back line can do a lot of work. That's my goal. This may not be the best piece for Gandalf. In fact, it almost assuredly isn't, but it is solid, and I had a lot of them. And I should have mentioned perhaps at the start of this video that you might want to hold on to more than just the one item, because ultimately you'll want to refine it. So if you are moving in on a Scout's Mail with, let's say, Deafness, you're going to want to hold on to all your Scout's Mail, even if it doesn't have the Deafness modifier, so that you can ultimately refine it and make it better. Now, the last piece, I had one of these and I got rid of it, and I'm sad because for good, you can only get it from tips, and that is the Superior Hauberk, which has fire resistance or melee vigor, and you can only get it from tips, but the fire resistance is so good. You could potentially turn Gimli into a Witch King counter by reducing his fire resistance a lot. I wish I'd held on to that. I don't have one. I can't even show it to you. They're hard to come by, which is why you should hold on to every single one of them, so that when you eventually get the one you want, you can actually go and refine it. Now, I need to switch gears and start to talk about helmets. That's it for the chest pieces for like, yo, you must keep that. On the helmet front, every Horseman's helm you get is probably a must keep. If you're on the side of good, you're probably going to run 2 Cav Commanders, topic for a separate video. But the Horseman's helm is just freaking god tier. It's so good for cavalry. It's so good. There are actually 3 flavors of Horseman's helm that are really good. So, I mean, pick your flavor. Warding is stun immunity. Mounted vigor is damage received for your melee units. Actually, it's for your mounted units. It's even better. It's damage received for your mounted units. And then resolve, it reduces your chance of succumbing to madness, which when you fight really strong evil players, you will see that is insanely valuable. So if you're running Eowyn, then obviously the mounted vigor is going to be your preferred flavor because she's already stun immune. If you're looking at other commanders like Theoden or Eomer who don't have stun immunity, I really like warding. It helps a lot. You really want to have a strong start to your fight. And if you want to shore up your greatest weakness and you're using Theoden and you're battling evil, like you could go for the madness immunity. I also just like mounted vigor. I mean, oh, man, so many good flavors of Horseman helmet. Really, really strong. Also really strong is the bone helmet. And I moved out of a bone helmet, weirdly enough, into other things. In fact, specifically into a trapper. So I'm going to talk about that in just a minute here. But the bone mask with Hysteria, you see I am holding on to the one. I had a bone mask with Manipulate, which reduces the damage of a unit very substantially. Very, very substantially. I had it up to 28% damage reduction, which is kind of crazy. I believe it was 21%. I mean, I had it really advanced. This is a very powerful effect, and these effects, by the way, take place at the very beginning of a fight, the first time the commander's turn happens, and then they have a 2-round warm-up period. I think that's right. I'll have to go take a look to see if it's a 2-round warm-up period. I think that's what it is, or if it's like a round of downtime and then it fires off. I think it's a 2-round warm-up. Anyways, the Hysteria and Manipulate are both really strong. I can recommend them both highly. The guidance that Drucifer shared is that Hysteria is best when maxed out. Get that guaranteed chance. And if you don't have it maxed, go for Manipulate. Because ultimately, like, you're still getting a really good % off, even though the Hysteria is very binary. You either inflicted madness or you did not, right? And on the topic of madness helmets, by the way, the bone mask, really good on Gandalf. Great helmet for him. Also great for Gandalf is the one that I'm using. I like the damage route, baby, on Gandalf. I'm going for the Trapper's Hood. Focus, speed for the commander, and army attack ranged. Remember I said Gandalf, do a lot of damage up front with Convener, and I have Hysteria. I like this helmet. I moved all in on it. It's very strong. Trapper's Hood, Hysteria, great helmet. Commander speed's also quite nice. The last epic helmet on the list is the Arnor Casque. I held on to 3 of these. Still, I have them. I really need to be investing in my helmets, so I'd like to just use them, but I'm holding on in case eventually I want silence immunity, but more likely stun immunity is really big. I also have this Curiosity, binding or blinding barrier, focus, burn, and poison damage for knights. Is there a knights build with Arnor Casque? Maybe there is. However, the stronger one is probably just going with the stun immunity here. And if we just look at the other options, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. That's the one. Stun immunity. Get that. You get one, you hold on to it. You want the Arnor Casque. This is available in Season 2. I don't think you can get it in Season 1. which brings us to the accessories. If you get one of these accessories, you should hold on to it. Although the majority of these options are going to be fairly niche. I'll explain if you should hold on to it and why. But this first option, okay, it's not so niche. Everybody should just make one of these, which is a worn out smoking pipe with sustain. It's just good. You can see I have a maxed out smoking pipe with sustain. It's strong. 45 focus every 2 rounds. All allies recover hit points. It's modified by your focus stat, so it gets better too with stacking focus on the commander. Yep, this is just really, really, really exceptional. Now, these next 2, both of them, are very niche, okay? They're very niche. If you get one and you're going this route with commanders, then hold on to it. If you're never going to go with this sort of a commander configuration, then don't bother. But it's the Harp of Lothlorien. Now, this is a weird one, because I'm going to suggest that you put this on Gil-galad or Elrond. Gil-galad or Elrond, and you want, I'll say obviously, elves strength. Allied elven units deal more damage. It's a niche item, but if you're going for Gil-galad or Elrond, who are very strong commanders, that's the harp that you want. This is the harp that you're looking for. The other harp that you might like, if you're building Éowyn or Theoden, is actually, I mean, it is a harp, which first of all, you might find confusing. You're like, Chisgule, bro, you're telling me I want focus on Éowyn? I am not telling you that. You're saying you want speed of elves on Theoden? I am not telling you that. What I'm going to say is that if you get the modifier for melee might, this is going to make it the best epic accessory for those commanders if you're using an epic, once you refine it a bunch, because the damage dealt boost is just that good. And there's not another way to get it from an accessory that I'm aware. So even though the base stats of the harp are really not compelling, the melee might modifier when refined is really, really good. Otherwise, if you're not going to refine it a bunch, the next thing you should use on those commanders, or just hold on to, is a Hithlane with Mend, and all of mine are actually deployed onto commanders because it's just good. Might, focus, army hit points, and a chance to heal. Like, well, it's not a chance to heal. You heal for 20%. It's good. Use it. Hold on to it. You put it on just about anybody, and it's just solid. Okay, does a lot of things. None of them all in, really. I have one that's more ranked up here. You can see there's a lot of focus. I'm not trying to stack focus on Éowyn. Okay, there's better accessories at higher tiers of rarity. I get it. But it's just solid, man. And in the grand scheme of things, it's easier to rank this up, or I guess refine this, compared to putting a legendary onto commander like this fiddle. That's legendary tier. That's a topic for a separate video. Final piece here that I'll review, that if you get one, maybe you'll hold on to it because they're hard to obtain, is the Drums of Moria. Very, very strong. However, you can pretty much only get them from tips, and if you're using King of the Dead, pretty much your only epic accessory option that I'm aware of that you could put on them for the side of good. I could be wrong. I don't have the King of the Dead, so I don't actually know. But that sounds about right. And just as a little bonus here, the blue items that perhaps you should consider building. There are 2. One I personally use. I really like this one. It is the Ranger's Dagger with melee might. This is actually shockingly good on Éowyn. Like, I'm slamming with freaking Éowyn with this blue dagger, baby. Now that you can take them up to 4 stars, yes, Ranger's Dagger, really good. Might, speed, allied melee unit, damage dealt. Let's freaking go. Great item. Another blue item for your cavalry commanders specifically is the Spear of Rangers with mounted might. Might, focus, commander speed, and allied mounted units damage dealt. Let's go. Great item. This actually will work with your bow knights if you're using bow knights. I basically haven't most of the season, which is weird, but I mean, topic for a separate video perhaps. And one last blue that is really, really good is a Morning Star with Balance Stone. Here's the Morning Star, and Balance Stone makes it so that you do 10% normal attack damage from your commander every turn. Quite nice. Also, I mean, might and hit points for your melee units. Great, great item. You get those items, you hold on to them. So there's the bonus for the blues. There's all the epics. If you enjoyed this video, throw a like on here and consider subscribing. Thank you again to Drucifer and my alliance. Alliance is a weird word in this game. The Smash Squad for helping me put together this list. And if you've got any other epic quality items that were available in season 1 or 2, I know that future things will release, right? And then those will be the chase items. But in season 1 or 2, or, I mean, heck, if it's in a future season, leave it in a comment so that I can start to track that and maybe put it into a future video, right? What is the combination of the item with the modifier? Because, man, it's just hard to know what to keep and what to throw away to make something stronger. And hopefully this video was helpful. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies.